With a 99.4% success rate, 𝗦𝘂 is one of the largest immigration law firms in the USA. Besides our founder and principal attorney, we have 6 associate attorneys along with 100 law clerks, case managers, and officials. The law firm is headquartered in Washington, D.C. Other than that, there are a branch office in Georgia and a country office in Dhaka, Bangladesh. What is a writ of mandamus? In simpler terms, in the immigration process in the USA, a writ of mandamus is a remedy for visa applicants using which they can effectively address and resolve the unreasonable delay in their visa processing. Why should you file a writ of mandamus? If anyone's visa application is stuck in an administrative process, he or she may file a writ of mandamus requesting the court to ask the concerned embassy or consulate to adjudicate the visa application within a reasonable time. Who can file a writ of mandamus? Anyone can usually proceed with a writ of mandamus if the administrative processing has been ongoing for more than 2 months for a student visa and 6 months or more for a visa of other categories. Processing time. After filing a writ of mandamus, it usually takes around 6 to 8 weeks to get a response from the concerned agency like USCIS, embassies, consulates, or others. For a writ of mandamus and any lawful immigration-related services, contact the address and phone number shown on the screen. You can also mail at info@𝗦𝘂.com. 𝗦𝘂 is your trustful address for any assistance and advice regarding immigration to America.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to the weekly live session held by attorney Raju Mahajan and Associates. For today's session, I am your host, Isabella Rosario, and with me I have Mr. Raju Mahajan, the principal attorney of the firm. Mr. Mahajan, it is great to have you here with us today.
Thank you very much, Isabella, and thank you everyone who are watching our show right now or will watch our show later in our other social media platform. I welcome all of you to our weekly show.
Thank you so much for being here. Yes, audience members, welcome to this session. Today we have a very informative live session prepared for you all. We will be discussing the details about the visitor visa. So Mr. Mahajan, please enlighten us.
Thank you very much. Can I see the PowerPoint? Yes, thank you so much. All right. So hello, everyone, again. So today we're going to talk about visitor visa, commonly mentioned as B1, B2 visa. And even though B1 and B2 is a kind of 2 different visa, but they are interchangeable, meaning if you come to America with a B1 visa, you can do all the activity that is mentioned under B2. At the same time, if you come to America under B2 visa, you can do all the activity under B1. So there is no fine line between B1 and B2. That's why it is commonly referred as B1, B2 visa. So let's move to the next slide. All right. So first of all, before going to any detail about B1, B2 visa, I would like to talk about some misrepresentation or fraud. A lot of people, when they apply for B1, B2 visa, they give false information to USCIS, they give wrong information, they willfully attempt to give wrong information. And I just want to make sure that you already know that attempting to obtain a visa by the willful misrepresentation of a material fact or fraud may result in the permanent refusal of a visa or denial of entry into the United States. I know a lot of people, they use this thing, they do fraud or misrepresentation. I really want to make sure that you do not do that. It will not only harm your visa application at this moment, even though you get the visa, you come to America, later when you try to adjust your status, change of your status, or even apply for green card or citizenship, it may harm your application. Please do not do that. Always mention appropriate information, submit appropriate document that will help your case now and also in future. That's why I just wanted to put this slide in the very beginning. Next slide, please. All right, business visa, B1 visa. So, what are the things you are allowed to do while you are in America with a B1 visa? You can consult with business associates, attend a scientific, educational, professional, or business convention or conference, settle an estate, negotiate a contract. So, pretty much you can do any kind of business activity. Just one thing that you cannot do, I just want to make sure that you understand that you cannot make any money, you cannot earn any money from any kind of business. You can do business work, but you cannot earn any money. Then you will violate the requirement of B1 visa. Next slide, please. All right, B2 visa, tourism. So you can definitely, excuse me, you can definitely visit all the tourist destination in America. America has a lot of like beautiful places like Niagara Falls, Grand Canyon, and a lot of national parks. You can visit those places. Vacation, you can spend, you can come here for your personal vacation, spend holidays, visit with friends and relatives, of course. Then medical treatment, I will have a separate slide and I will talk more about medical treatment, but just remember that medical treatment is also under tourist visa. A lot of time people ask us questions, so is there any different visa for medical treatment? The answer is no, it's under tourist visa, B2 visa. Participation in social events hosted by fraternal, social or service organizations, that's also under tourist visa. Next slide, please. Participation by amateurs in musical, sports, or similar events or contests, if not being paid for participating. So this is a very important information you should remember. You can come to America to perform your musical talent or like theatrical talent or anything, but you cannot get paid. That's a very important information. If you want to perform like music or sports or other kind of talent, which is fine, you have to come under P3 visa. P for PAM 3, P3 visa. That's a totally different discussion. I'm not going that detail into today, but just remember that you cannot get paid while you're performing these things under B2 visa. To do that, as a professional, you have to come with a P3 visa. Next topic is enrollment in a short recreational course of study, not for credit towards a degree. For example, a 2-day cooking class while on vacation. That's another very good question we get all the time. So if you want to study here in America, there are F1 visa, M1 visa, J1 visa. Those are different kind of visas to study or get trained here in America. Under B2, you cannot do those things. You can only participate in short recreational course of study, not for credit toward a degree. So just remember this fine line between B2 versus F1, J1, M1, those things. We already have other videos about those things. I hope you watch those videos and learn about those things. Next slide, please. All right. Travel purposes not permitted on visitor visa, as I already said, but let me tell again. So these are the things you are not allowed to do while you are in America under B1, B2 visa. Number one, study. You cannot study. For a study, there is F1, J1, M1 visa. You have to go through this. Employment. You cannot work anywhere. There are some exceptional situation. I'll talk later, but in general, you cannot work at all under B1, B2 visa. Paid performance or any professional performance before a paying audience. Again, I already mentioned this. To do that, you have to get a P3 visa. Arrival as a crew member on a ship or aircraft. You cannot come to America as a crew member for ship or aircraft under B1, B2 visa. Work as foreign press in radio, film, print journalism, or other information media. You cannot come to America for this as a foreign journalist under B1, B2 visa. Permanent residence in the United States. You cannot come to America with a B1, B2 visa and stay here permanently. That will violate the requirement of a B1, B2 visa. Next slide, please. All right, three very important things to remember. Sorry, I forget to put the word important. Okay, you have to write 2 letters in your B1, B2 application. Number one, why you are visiting the US. You have to mention some reason. It can be medical treatment, it can be tourism, it can be business conference or anything. But whatever you do, you must explain the event. You must provide as much information and document you can to make this a bona fide reason. And you try to give as much information possible. Please do not try to hide anything, because US embassy, US government, they will definitely find those information. So write a essay describing your purpose of visit. Second essay is why you will go back to your home country. Please describe as detailed as possible. If you have any ties to your home country, for example, you work, you have a job, you have property, you have a business, you have family members, you have anything that you have in your home country, and any reason that looks logical to embassy, please mention those things. These two essays are very important, and in the interview, US embassy officer will ask question based on these two essays. So when you write essay, please remember to get you prepared for any kind of questions related to those information, those essays. These two essays are very tricky to get B1 B2 application approved. The last one, I would recommend you to get a visitor health insurance. It is not mandatory. However, it is highly recommended, because while you are visiting America, it can be for 1 week, it can be for 1 month, it can be for 6 months. You may be sick. You may need to go to hospital. American healthcare system is very complex and not very patient friendly. So if you go to a hospital without a health insurance, and if you take any public assistance program, meaning like if you take any health benefit that is funded by the federal government or state government, that may hamper your future coming to America. So I highly recommend you to take a visitor health insurance before you come to America. A lot of people ask question about this. Should I get it before going for interview? My answer is contact some company who issue visitor health insurance. Take a quotation. Quotation means they will just give you a price. Like let's say per month you have to pay $200, $300, $500 kind of things. Get a quotation, get it printed, take with you in the interview. Show the embassy officer that you already have a quotation from a visitor health insurance provider company. That will increase your chance to get visitor visa. Once you get the visa, then pay to the company and get the insurance for all the time you're visiting America. Once you go back to your home country, you can cancel the health insurance. This health insurance is very important and very helpful to get B1 B2 visa approved. Next slide, please. Okay, how to apply. I'm not going the details into this. I just mentioned the steps, because number one, it is easy. A lot of people know it. Number two, if I try to talk about all the steps, then it may take a long time. The purpose of this video is to just give you like a basic idea about B1 B2 visa. So number one, first you have to submit an online visa application, schedule an interview, get appointment. Usually there's a waiting time to get the appointment. Prepare for your interview. As I said, you have to write two essays. Remember all the information that you mentioned in these two essays. That is, prepare for interview, gather required documentation. Try your best to gather as much information as possible, as many documents as possible, to make sure that US embassy official, they understand that this is a valid reason, it's a bona fide reason. Attend your visa interview on time. Entering the United, like after getting visa, you will enter the America. If you want, you can extend your stay here in America, like a B1 B2 beyond 6 months period. However, you have to show some valid reason why you cannot go back to your home country, why you need to extend your stay. Usually, previously, we used to use COVID as a ground, but now COVID is not here. So you have to show some reason why you cannot fly, why you cannot go back to your home country. Then change of status. You can definitely change of your status from B1, B2 to other kind of visa, like F1 or like excuse me, H1B, other kind of visa. Those are the things I just mentioned a little bit. Next slide, please. All right, travel for medical treatment. So as I mentioned earlier, travel for medical treatment is also B2 visa. So to do that, you must first receive some kind of medical diagnosis and some kind of medical certification from some doctors back in home country. They should mention that this treatment is not very common in our home country. It's rare, but America has better treatment than our country. They should write that in those letters, and then you should contact some American doctors or hospitals or clinics and get a letter from them that yes, you contacted them, and that facilities, that doctor's office or hospital or clinic is capable of treating this kind of patients. Get a letter from them, and then also you have to prove of your financial ability, because as I said earlier, treatment in America is very expensive. Medical treatment is very expensive. There are a lot of health insurance options, but most of them are funded by the government, either federal government or state government. As a tourist, as a non-immigrant, you are not allowed to take any government subsidized health insurance or any kind of payments. So you have to show your financial ability that while you are in America for medical treatment, either you or your immediate relative is capable of paying that expenses. So these three things: number one recommendation from your home doctor, doctor from a home country, one recommendation letter from a doctor from America explaining that they're capable of doing this, and then proof of your financial ability. If you have these three documents ready, I'm very confident that your application for B2 visa for medical reason would be approved. Next slide, please. All right, visitor visa for personal or domestic employees. As I said, you're not allowed to work here in America while you are in B1, B2 application, B1, B2 visa. However, there are some rare exceptional situations where you can work under B1 visa. So there are two scenarios. Number one, a US citizen who has a permanent house or is stationed in a foreign country but is visiting or is assigned to United States temporarily. Let's say one guy, he's American citizen, he has a permanent home in Bangladesh, and in most of the time he lives in Bangladesh, and he has a house aide or somebody who helps him. Now he's coming to America for a temporary visit or some business related work, and he needs the house aide in his trip. Then the house aide can apply under B1 visa. This is an exceptional situation. Number two exceptional is a foreign citizen who is in the United States on one of the following non-immigrant visa categories. So these are like those who are like ambassadors, foreign diplomats, those who work for United Nations, NATO, or any international organizations. A lot of diplomats, they get visa under these categories. They live in America, and they need nannies or house aide or personal secretary kind of people, and they also get work authorization under B1 visa. This is also an exceptional situation. Other than these two exceptional situations, you are not allowed to work here in America while you are in B1 or B2 visa. Next slide, please. Oh, thank you. That was the end of our presentation today. B1, B2 is a big category. It requires a lot of discussion. I did not go that detail, but if any of you have any question, I'm happy to answer.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahjan, for that informative presentation. I'm sure all of us, we have learned a lot of useful information regarding this visa. While you were presenting, one question has already popped up. This question is from Mr. Farhan Khan Rio, and he asks, me, my wife, and son has B1, B2 visa. Is it good to apply for F1, F2 inside the US?
It depends. Let me explain the situation, Mr. Rio. Then it will be helpful for you to understand. It is easy to get change of status from B1, B2 to F1 from within America because there is a premium processing. First thing, you have to get admission to a university, get a I-20 for all of your for you and all of your dependents. Then you can apply for change of status with premium processing. With premium processing, your application would be approved within 2 to 3 weeks. However, just because you have change of status from America doesn't mean that your visa category has been changed. Meaning, after getting this change of status, if you want to go back to your home country to visit or something, once you try to re-enter, you have to apply for visa again in the local US embassy. So technically, if you change of your status from within America, you will definitely do it. You can definitely do it faster. However, you have to face the interview again in your local embassy. So if you feel like, yes, I have to go back my home country within 1 or 2 weeks or 1 or 2 months, then it is recommended to go back to your home country, go through the student visa application from beginning. That would save your time. But if you think like, no, once I change my status, I do not need to go back to my home country within 1 or 2 years, then yes, it is recommended to do that within America. I hope I explained the situation good, that you understand.
I hope that answers your question, Mr. Khan. And now, audience members, we will be moving to our archive question. Oh, wait, we have another question from a spectator. So Mr. Asiful Zaman asks, hello, sir. My parents are living in the US as immigrants, and it's been more than 9 years. I am married and I want to immigrate to the US. What will be the procedure? Kindly explain.
Mr. Zaman, so I understand that your parents are U.S. Immigrants. It's been so. What do you mean by U.S. immigrants? If they are U.S. citizen, or green card holders, yes, they can apply for you as their children. And since you're married, it may take a little longer than other people, but they can apply for I-130, get it approved. Then your application will move to NVC. You will submit DS-260, and follow the process. Usually it takes 7 to 8, 9 years. But also you can come by yourself. So depending on your background, you can come to America by yourself, and at the same time your parents' application can be processed parallelly. There is no problem with that.
I hope that answers your question, Mr. Zaman. Now we will be moving to our archive emails. We have had lots of questions by prospective clients. So the first question is by Mr. 𝗦𝘂𝘃𝗍𝘆, and he asks, if I apply for asylum and an EB3 visa in the USA simultaneously, and my EB3 application is approved, while my asylum petition is later refused after a year, in this situation, will my EB3 status be cancelled, and will I be required to leave the US if my petition is rejected from the High Court finally?
No, once your EB3 application is approved, that means that you are getting green card. Once you get green card, even if your asylum application is denied later, that's okay. You already have a green card. Once somebody has a green card, it's really hard to get that green card cancelled or deported back to home country unless you do some big crimes. So if your if your EB3 application is approved, you're safe. Don't worry about asylum application. However, if your asylum application is rejected before your EB3 is approved, then you may face some problem. Of course, the law is not like black and white thing. It's not like a binary 1 or 0. There are a lot of options. So even if your asylum application is rejected before your EB3 application is approved, there are some ways to stay in America legally and maintain your status before you can finally adjust your status to a green card.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahajan. We have had another question from Ms. Umaru Matrud-Kamara, and she asks, could someone who has been a victim of immigration apply for a U visa?
Yes, of course. Those who are victim of immigration or victim of crime. I think you try to write victim of crime. So if somebody is a victim of crime, definitely they can apply under U visa. So U visa has its own requirement. You have to, if you are a victim of the crime, you must call police immediately. If you need medical help, go to hospital, go to doctor's office, get treatment, and keep all the evidence, keep all the document of this crime, and then yes, definitely you qualify for U visa and you can apply.
I hope that answers your question. We have another question from the archive. So this question comes from Mr. Mehdi Hassan, and he asks, can I apply for an E2 visa while my asylum petition is pending in a court in the US?
Yes, you can apply for E2 visa while your asylum application is pending. Just make sure that you have no out of status before you applied for asylum application. If you have out of status, meaning, let's say you came to America with a B1, B2 visa and you have a 6 months stay period. If you apply for asylum after that 6 months of valid stay, then your E2 application may get rejected. But if you do not have any out of status, then yes, you can apply for E2 and get it approved.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. We have another question from Mr. 𝗦𝘂𝘃𝗍𝘆, and he asks, if I stay in the USA with F1 status, can my dependent, my wife, study? If so, what is the maximum number of credits she can take from a university? My second question is...
Yeah, let me answer this question first. So F2 holders are allowed to study part-time, meaning maximum they can sign up for 6 credits per semester. Also, they will not be able to, will be eligible for OPT, CPT, or any kind of work authorization after graduation.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. The second question Mr. Rahman had is, my second question is, can my 13-year-old son, who is currently studying in class 9 in Bangladesh, attend school, public or private, in the US while he will be on the F2 visa? If he can study in the US with his F2 visa, I would like to know the maximum class or level my son can attend.
Yeah, your son, who is 13-year-old, will be able to enroll in both public or private school. Of course, public is free. For private, you need to make payments. They're allowed to study full-time for high school until 12th grade. They're allowed to enroll for full-time studies.
I hope that answers your queries. We have another question from Mr. Rashidul Islam, and he asks, I have B1, B2 visa, including my family members. I intend to visit the USA and apply for asylum and simultaneously submit an EB3 or NIW application within the USA. If my EB3 or NIW application is approved, then can I withdraw my asylum case? And for doing that, whether there will be any impact on my EB3 or NIW visa status.
Okay, first of all, this is a tricky thing. Of course, you can, after your EB3 is approved, you can withdraw your asylum application. But I would say something. So if you have a valid B1, B2 visa, you are trying to come to America, and then you're planning to apply for asylum. This is a violation of B1, B2 visa. To express this intent, you are not allowed to express this intent in a public place. So if you want to talk to attorney, which is fine, try to get like an in-person meeting. In-person meaning, like, it can be virtual, it can be like in the office. But if you ask this kind of questions in a public place like this, that may violate your requirement for B1, B2 visa. So I strongly advise you not to even think of that before coming to America, not to even think of asylum application before coming to America, because nowadays everything is online, everything is public. So if immigration officer, either in airport or embassy, they notice that you have intent of applying for asylum while you will in America upfront, then they may cancel a visa. So just right now, before coming to America, just keep your mind for B1, B2 visa. Once you are in America, then you can change your mind and do anything.
I hope that answers your queries. We have had another question from Mr. Asifud and he asks, if I apply normally for a visitor visa for me and my wife for the reason that my parents are living in USA, is there any chance that I will be rejected from the embassy?
I mean, yeah, there's a chance for rejection of any case. It doesn't matter like what are the reason. There's always risk of getting rejected.
I hope that answers your question, Mr. Zaman. We have our final question from the archive emails from Miss Afri Nahir, and she asks, if I enroll at your American International University or Emporia State University, then do I need to pay the full tuition fees for an entire year, or is it possible to pay the tuition fees for one semester?
We do not control tuition thing. We just help students submit their application to those universities. We have partnership, so it depends on the university. Every university has their own requirement. I'm not 100% sure what are the requirements for Emporia or International American. So I recommend you to contact our student admission department. They will be able to better assist you. But my understanding is that you do not have to pay the full tuition for 1 year. You have to probably pay tuition for one semester.
Thank you, Mr. Mahajan. We have had another question from Ms. Kamara, and she asks, if I came to the America with B1, B2 visa, I had been here for over a year, and I also have a bachelor's degree in chemistry. What are my options to have my green card?
If you have a bachelor degree in chemistry, you are probably not eligible for NIW. That is one thing, you're not eligible. I think the best case scenario would be regular EB2 or EB3 application. That would be the best case scenario. But to answer more detail, I recommend you to take an appointment. In that case, I'll be able to see your entire background and whether you qualify for other kind of visa. But based on the information you just provided, I think regular EB2 or EB3 would be good for you.
I hope that answers your query. And that is all the questions we have, Mr. Mahajan. Do you have an immigration update?
Yes, thank you very much. Yes, we have some updates. So many of you already know that to apply for NIW, we need some employment related data from a source called ONET. So Department of Labor has 60 days notice and request for comments on proposed revision to the ONET data collection program. Comments are due by 9/29/2023. So if you have any question or comment about DOL data from ONET, you can go to their DOL website and ask question or leave your comments over there. DOL FAQs on the implementation of 2022 H2A final rule. So Department of Labor also going through a FAQ session. So if you are interested to learn more about H2A, you can go to Department of Labor website and learn about the new FAQ. All right, now about asylum. Court allows Biden asylum policy to proceed. So Biden was trying to restrict people who are crossing the southern border to enter America, and one lower court put an injunction. Now the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, they give green signal to move forward with this process. This kind of update doesn't have that much direct impact. I'm just giving you just that you are you're I just want to make you that you're posted. Asylum quarterly stakeholders engagement. USCIS invites stakeholders to its quarterly meeting on the asylum program on 9/19/2023. Questions are due by something 8/9/23. Student immigration, second selection of H-1B cap registration. All right, this is the very important information for those who are applying for H-1B. USCIS stated on its website that it selected 77,600 registrations in the second selection for the fiscal year 2024 H-1B cap. During the registration period for the fiscal year 2024 H-1B cap, USCIS saw a significant increase in the number of registrations submitted compared to the prior year, which is a good thing because a lot of news registration for H-1B. I think those are the update today.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mahajan. Thank you to all of our audience members for sticking with us this live session. And we will hope to see you all in the next week as well at the same time. Thank you so much for your viewership.
With a 99.4% success rate, 𝗏𝗏 Law is one of the largest immigration law firms in the USA. Besides our founder and principal attorney, we have 6 associate attorneys along with 100 law clerks, case managers, and officials. The law firm is headquartered in Washington, D.C. Other than that, there are a branch office in Georgia and a country office in Dhaka, Bangladesh. What is a writ of mandamus? In simpler terms, in the immigration process in the USA, a writ of mandamus is a remedy for visa applicants using which they can effectively address and resolve the unreasonable delay in their visa processing. Why should you file a writ of mandamus? If anyone's visa application is stuck in an administrative process, he or she may file a writ of mandamus requesting the court to ask the concerned embassy or consulate to adjudicate the visa application within a reasonable time. Who can file a writ of mandamus? Anyone can usually proceed with a writ of mandamus if the administrative processing has been ongoing for more than 2 months for a student visa and 6 months or more for a visa of other categories. Processing time. After filing a writ of mandamus, it usually takes around 6 to 8 weeks to get a response from the concerned agency like USCIS, embassies, consulates, or others. For a writ of mandamus and any lawful immigration-related services, contact the address and phone number shown on the screen. You can also mail at info@𝗏𝗏law.com. 𝗏𝗏 Law is your trustful address for any assistance and advice regarding immigration to America.